Today I'm going to show you how to make, for those of you who are vegan or vegetarian, I'm going to show you a great meal called Chana Bateta or Chana Masala. It's from India, so depending on where in India you're from, the name changes, but you know, and the flavors change slightly. We're going to make that. You can have it on top of rice or on top of Indian naan, whatever you like. I am going to show you. Okay. So in terms of prep, I've cut in cubes 2 potatoes. I have 2 shallots here. Shallots are softer and they disappear in the food. They're not like onion. They're from the garlic family. A couple of garlics and some minced ginger, which I have grated, the fresh ginger. Then I've put them in ice cube trays and in the freezer, so I always have some ready and it's fresh, it's not the powder. Then about a quarter of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. You can put more if you want it spicier. Mustard seeds, coriander seeds, about a tablespoon and a half, a teaspoon and a half, a teaspoon of mustard seeds, or they're gonna pop like popcorn. Cumin, a teaspoon of sugar. I will need about a couple of tablespoons of tomato paste, a can of garbanzo beans, or you can bake them if you have nothing else to do, a can of coconut milk, and a can of ripe organic diced tomatoes if you do not have the fresh tomatoes. Okay, advice. I've written this recipe, but for those of you who is the first time or the second time you're making a recipe, always have a cheat sheet when there are so many ingredients involved. If not, you know, if you're doing Italian with a couple of ingredients, no, but with Indian, Thai, Persian, always have your cheat sheet or your list. Before you do the mise en place, is very important to have everything ready. And I use my favorite tool, one of my favorite tools. To put everything in the skillet. I will put the garlic and the ginger on top of the shallot, so they're not the first thing that I'm gonna actually start caramelizing it. Okay, so by the time you see that they are starting to change color and they're caramelizing, I make a hole in the middle, and this is how I'm making it lately. And I have the mustard seeds starting, they're gonna pop like a popcorn. So what I do, I like to cover them, and then I start adding the other spices. Some spices, they're best when they heat the hot oil and they start not only popping but releasing their flavors. So some of the recipes it's okay to add the, you know, the bay leaf or something else later, but in most recipes with Indian, like especially these braises, it is important also to add some when they are hot. Okay, now I'm gonna add the potatoes. Bateta, Chana Bateta means potato actually, so very close to the word potato. I'm gonna start stirring. I wish you could smell it. That's why you should come here and experience it here. It's so good. As you have noticed, I haven't added the sugar yet. The sugar is gonna go in the next part. Okay, so right now I'm doing nothing but lowering the heat and covering it and letting it go for a few minutes. Here in my mixer, and you don't need to have a Blendtec or a Vitamixer, you just put your tomato paste and your tomatoes or your canned tomato, whichever you have. I like it more on the redder side, so I'm going to put 2. I think in my recipe I say 1. And I'm going to put the sugar. And I'm going to add hot milk. Okay. And all I do now is the fun part. Make sure that you start on very, very low, especially when you just have a sauce to mix. And then you can tell when all becomes a homogeneous color, you can actually start dialing down again. And to deglaze my pot a little bit, with water. Okay, give it a good go, and then slowly pour. See how beautiful it looks. Now again, we are not the peas because they're done. They're gonna, the beans, sorry, not the peas, are gonna go last. So at this point, I just want to do my usual thing. See, oh, it needs salt, and it needs a lot of it. And one more thing, I add a little bit more. Make it boil, bring it to boil, let all the flavors melt. Okay, so I brought it to boil for a couple of minutes, and I know by the look of it that my potatoes are half cooked. And by half cooked, I mean if you take them and you kind of go with your fork, you see they're still tough. You know, they're still not really soft, so you know it has to go for a while, but they're not raw either. So at this point, adding my garbanzo beans. It's quite thick actually. I see that it is thick and it needs more cooking, so I am adding water. Again, because this is vegan vegetarian, I am adding only water. You are welcome to put chicken in it. Shrimp goes really well with this meat. You can put shrimp in it. You can put chicken broth in case you did that. I am adding water because I want to do vegetarian. Okay, so we are unveiling it. You see how thick the sauce has thickened. Everything has come together, and I'm gonna take, again, as I said, you can top it with rice or put this on top of rice or on top of a naan, bread, anything you like. Really eat it like you would any other braise. If you like pasta, I've never tried it with pasta, but why not? And I am gonna first check, you see, the potato is coming apart. And the funny thing, everybody who eats this tells me that they feel like there is meat in it, or marrow or something. I just think it's, you know, the starch of the potato and the vegetables coming together. I'm gonna see if it needs anything more salt or more pepper. So good. Bon appetit.